Welcome to Frametown, West Virginia. Here you'll find an elementary school, a few small businesses, and a 14-mile length of I-79. You won't find a stoplight anywhere within 10 miles. Frametown is quintessential rural America. That is, until you get here, the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department.
What keeps me here is still seeing the need in the community to help people.
From the outside, it looks just like any other small town volunteer fire department. Behind its doors, you'll find engines, equipment, and a full complement of 7 officers, 16 firefighters, and 7 support members. So what makes this department so special? More than 50% of them are women.
The women, we're strong. You know, we want to help our community, and this is one of the ways.
Even in the most progressive cities, the percentage of female firefighters is typically in the single digits. Frametown is an exceptional case.
I've never had to prove myself. They actually pushed me to do more than what I thought I could do.
In this small Appalachian town in Braxton County, nearly 60% of its staff are female, including the chief, Angie Short. It's more than just inclusive. It's necessary to offset a significant decline in volunteerism.
This point in volunteerism, it's hard to get anybody, so they'll take whoever comes through the door that's willing to learn and has the heart to do what we do.
Gender diversity has been a long-standing issue in the fire service. In America, women comprise only 7% of all career and volunteer firefighters and 9% of all volunteer firefighters. Meanwhile, there has been a significant decline in the number of qualified volunteers. That's particularly true in Appalachia, where declining coal jobs have led to an exodus of local residents. Frametown, perhaps more than any other department in the nation, has solved both problems, simply by enlisting the help of women.
And we enjoy having them. And we got some hard workers, and they do whatever a man can do as far as fighting fire or whatever.
These ladies are not afraid to dig right in. I've been associated with other groups, mostly male, that, well, he'll do it or I'll do it or somebody will do it. These people will line up to help you, and I like that.
Understanding the story of the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department could help increase volunteerism all over the U.S. It started with brave women who wanted to do more and weren't afraid to push the envelope. The history of women in this fire department dates back to its founding in 1973, when Sharon Frame was one of the original members. In 1994, Bonnie Petty and Iraq veteran Teresa Mick became the first women to successfully pass the Firefighter 1 exam through the West Virginia University Fire Service Extension. They were followed by the late Mina Dobbins in 1995.
We could not go out onto a fire scene to deliver the foods and waters to our firefighters. Then we went through the firefighter classes. Now there is a number of us ladies that are on that membership as a firefighter.
Bonnie is the president of the department, and Teresa remains on as a firefighter.
I had spent several years, giving to my country. I wanted to give to my community. And a couple friends of mine was members, and they brought me up here and introduced me around, and it's something I wanted to do. I wanted to keep giving.
Teresa Mick serves with her daughter, Bridget McLaughlin, and her granddaughter, Taylor Riffle, who continues to serve after being the department's most recent junior firefighter.
I know not very many fire departments have 3 generations of females, so it's really amazing to be a part of this.
Jessica Rayner was previously a junior firefighter, and she recently advanced to the position of firefighter when she turned 18. Jeanette McCord is a member, along with her sister, Onita Schieffer. Jeanette's daughter, Tara Wilson, is also a member of the department. And Debbie Roberts serves along with her husband, Mike.
My husband recruited me. We're both very supportive of each other. I'm like, tones are dropping, go, let's go, let's go.
These are only some of the female members who have selflessly served in Frametown. So how can other fire departments emulate the success of Frametown? By examining the reasons women volunteer here. Frametown's female firefighters say the desire to serve their community was the primary reason they decided to join. For them, it's personal.
Firefighters telling us 3 people are dead, 2 were injured after a 2-story house fire near Frametown.
Being in a rural area, we are going to know the person on the other end of the call. Some of them will be our friends, some of them are going to be our relatives. You know what you're walking into, but you have to be strong and walk in.
It tugs at your heartstrings because you know this is your family, and that if they don't make it, then you kind of feel responsible that maybe you didn't do enough or you could have done something different.
Frametown's female firefighters also say they see each run as more than a task. It's a way to show compassion.
When I run on a call, I don't care whose family they are. I treat them as if they're my family because they're somebody's family.
Both men and women in this department recognize a difference in the way they respond to calls. Those differences may be seen as stereotypes, but not harmful ones. Their unique demeanors and abilities are complementary.
The women are better working with children, regardless. You take a 3-year-old or more trusting of a female than are a male. So, yeah, that's one advantage to them, that they can do more than we can do.
In particular, Frametown's female firefighters have shown an ability to connect with victims and create a calming effect in the heat of emergency response. And they often continue checking in and helping victims well after the event.
The most memorable call was a car wreck on I-79, and it was a family coming from Pennsylvania to Kentucky to go to a funeral. 2 children were killed, and I went down and got the 8-year-old little girl and carried her up so she wouldn't have to see what was going on. The fire chief and I continued on to the hospital. We went to McDonald's and got all the children food so that they wouldn't have such an emotional time with the loss of their brothers and sisters.
It takes a certain type of person to do the work that we do. A woman in general has something that a male does not have, and that is a automatic caring nature. I foresee that as what makes them good in the fire service.
The women are willing to work, they get out there, and I put our fire chief against any fire chief in the state of West Virginia. I mean, she can get out there and she can pump that pumper, she can do everything, and she's had more training than most.
I think that when you have a job that you want to get done, a woman will get it done. She's going to do it with compassion, which is necessary when they're going out in these emergency situations. These women know what they're doing, and they're ready to do it.
Frametown is not only a model that can impact recruitment and retention of females into the fire service. A deeper look at the fire department reveals the degree to which family and community in the Appalachian region are connected to the success of the department. The members bond within the fire department through training, emergency response, and fundraising activities, such as their annual ramp dinner. Members harvest the naturally growing ramps in the Appalachian Mountains and use proceeds from the dinner to cover a substantial portion of their annual operating budget.
People even ask, well, when's the next ramp dinner? You know, we have one in the spring and we have one in the fall because we try to dig enough ramps to serve 2 dinners. We got to work pretty hard at it to get them gathered up.
The level of bonding is an extension of the literal family bonds that exist within the department. Chief Angie Short is a single mother who has served the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department for 25 years. She was promoted to the position of chief in July 2008.
Braxton, I'm a mom. What's the address to your emergency?
In addition to her work with Frametown, Chief Short also serves in emergency services as a Braxton County 911 dispatcher.
It takes all of us to be Frametown. We don't have gender roles. When it comes to cooking, the guys will jump in and cook. And cleaning, it's just not the girls cleaning. You know, we're one big unit, and it doesn't matter if you're a male or female, what role you play.
Serving in Frametown is a value that has been passed on across 3 generations of women. Iraq veteran Teresa Mick was one of the first 2 female members of Frametown to pass Firefighter 1 through the West Virginia University Fire Service Extension.
There's things that I can't do, and I know I can't do them. But if one of the guys is there, I'm not ashamed to ask for help. But on the same token, there's things that maybe they don't do as well. They ask for help.
Her daughter, Bridget McLaughlin, joined as the first junior firefighter, and she later saw her granddaughter, Taylor Riffle, join.
I have turnout gear on, I have my Nomax hood on, I have a helmet on. Anybody that looks at me, if they don't know I'm a female, they don't know. We are all firefighters out there doing a job. Now, once I take off all that and they see it, they're like, oh, but she did. Oh, okay, she really did. So then they're okay with it.
The pride is put away. A job needs done. People work together to get it done. You know, there's no males or no females. We're the fire department. We're the Frametown Fire Department.
All right, hold on. I am extremely proud to be a part of a 3-generation woman firefighter. Because not very many people can say that.
No.
At all. But I am extremely proud to follow in my Nana's and my mom's footsteps.
Father and daughter bonds can be special and unique in a typical family. This bond is strengthened and tested as Steve Williams and his daughter, Krista, are both members of Frametown.
It does stress me a little bit when I run a call and Dad's not with me. The first bad call I was ever on, he wasn't with me, he was at work. And the whole time I was there doing what I needed to do, I'm just thinking about everything he's taught me and how to do it right in order to stay safe.
I tried to raise both of my kids to be independent. But one of these days I'm not going to be here, and they need to carry on and do what is expected of them. That's the way my dad raised me. I'm trying to pass it to my children.
Rose and her daughter, Jess, serve in the department. Both have had a unique focus on EMS. Rose decided to pursue an EMT certification to serve a greater level in the department after feeling inadequate on a scene.
It affected my whole life, just standing there and not being able to help. We had plenty of help, but she asked me for something and I couldn't do it. And I said, if I'm going to stay, I'm going to learn EMS. And she said, well, us as a fire department will put you through it if that's what you want. And so it began. The fire department here is very supportive of, if you want to gain knowledge, you want to learn any school, sure, we'll send you. You know, bring back your knowledge, share it with us, and very, very open to that.
Jessica has leveraged her interest in EMS into a career as a full-time EMT, working in Braxton County EMS while also serving in the department.
I think it's awesome that, we're bringing in more women, more younger generation. I'm only 24. I joined whenever I was 16. And I've grew up in it, love it, want to do it until I retire. So, I think all of that's awesome.
For Jessie to want to be a part of that, helping people and be part of our fire department, be part of the EMS. I don't think that you could have any more expectations out of your children than them wanting to help people. So I'm very proud of that.
Mike and Debbie Roberts have been long-standing members of Frametown.
I was in the fire department before I was in the fire department. And one night there was a house fire, and they said they have a firefighter down to come across the scanner. And Angie called me, and she said, Debbie, it's not Mike. I said, okay, but I'm coming. So I went, and I vowed then that he wasn't going to go out alone again. So I joined the fire department.
Don and Bonnie Petty have been members of Frametown for many years, with Bonnie being one of the first female firefighters on staff.
I think it's great. We're together all the time. We share everything 50-50. And it was because of him being in the fire department first that I got into the fire department also. It was one of the other members of the fire department asked me if I wanted to fill out an application. I had gone down to help them paint inside. And he said, well, you just as well fill out an application and become a member also. And I thought, well, that sounds like an idea.
Women who want to be part of the fire department and men who support their engagement achieve the gender balance of Frametown. The men who remained from an earlier departmental rift and those who have since joined have helped to create a gender-blind environment, something to which much of our nation aspires.
Because we see them not as inferior, as equal. They take the same training, they pass the same tests we pass, they do the same physical things we do. Whatever needs done, the women are doing. They pump the truck, they man the hose, they pack up and go in when need is necessary. We don't look at them as women. They're fellow firefighters.
Glenn Nicholas is the assistant chief. He has been part of the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department since its early years. His family in Braxton County dates back to a land grant opportunity afforded to one of his ancestors for service in the War of 1812.
Volunteering is very important to me because it's all based on love. Love for your fellow man. You help each other out. When one's down, you pick him up. But when somebody has a good time, you celebrate with it. When somebody's sad, you cry with it. And the fire department's the same way.
This is where I hang out a lot.
Captain Randy James has had an extensive history in the Volunteer Fire Department and is a trainer in the West Virginia University Fire Service Extension. He and his family have a deep history in the Braxton County Fire Service. He followed in his father's footsteps in serving his community.
There's times when we had a fire, it might be a structure fire, but if you show up and you have a good knockdown, you have a good turnout, nobody gets hurt, that's a source of enjoyment for a lot of folks. Come on. Especially if you're an officer, you make sure everybody knows that they did a good job. That's part of it.
Nick Salvo is a new member of the Frametown community. He and his wife Beth made the radical decision to move from a densely populated community in New Jersey to a deeply rural area of Braxton County.
Sometimes you could be a member of an organization and still feel like an individual, and at Frametown I don't. Over the last year I've really become the feel that these are my brothers and sisters. It's definitely exceeded my expectations of, well, I'm just a member there. I'm not just a member, I'm part of their family.
He has a unique insight, given his experience in the volunteer fire service in a metro area, compared to his experience in the rural community of Frametown.
I was somewhat surprised to see the number of women that were in Frametown Fire Department, only because you don't necessarily see a fire department that has a majority of women as not just members but also firefighters.
The West Virginia University Fire Service Extension is the organization responsible for delivering training to all volunteer fire departments throughout the state. Mark Lambert serves as director.
There's a problem nationwide with volunteering and volunteer firefighters in general. Getting people to volunteer as firefighters nowadays, we have to be more receptive to letting females on the departments and making sure they're treated the same as the men are, and that they understand that they can advance and can move up and can contribute to their communities. So I think it's absolutely great that we have a department here that happens to be led by women. They have a good department and a good relationship with the community.
In a world of gender rhetoric and division, the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department appears to be a microcosm of harmony. Gender is simply not an issue, but it has not always been this way. At one point, there was a division among its members due to the number of women who were in the department.
As an older gentleman, I was totally against women in the fire department. In the beginning, there was 5 to 1 women here. And a lot of us men was just, upset about it.
When I first became a firefighter, I wasn't welcomed readily because they didn't want any other females. And some of the females that had joined wasn't here to run calls and help.
Many men chose to leave and establish a volunteer fire department in a neighboring community.
When the split occurred, the ones that left went back to their residential area, and all of us here closer into the community then kept this one going. But now, with those two departments, we are going out and fighting fires and any type of scene back to back because we are called out jointly at the same time. So still, there's no hard feelings anywhere. We're all working together.
The remaining male members of the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department adopted a new mindset. They view performance as the primary marker for acceptance, not gender.
I had to prove to them that I wanted to help. I had to run the calls and do the training and prove to them that's why I was here.
As it progressed, I got to see what they was capable of doing. They was capable of doing the same as we were. I was grateful for them, glad to have them around.
The women feel that we are not moving in to take over. We only want to be a partner side by side. And I really believe that our men feel that same way.
The women in this department simply serve however they can to support the operations of the fire department, as do their male counterparts.
Our chief is a woman, our president's a woman, our secretary is a woman. So without the women in this department, we probably couldn't operate.
The Frametown Volunteer Fire Department is a great place to learn the trade. That's because firefighters here do not see themselves as a separate brotherhood and sisterhood, but as one inclusive family. This dynamic has helped experienced members be more effective mentors. New members, regardless of gender, are welcomed by both men and women. They are engaged based on their desires and abilities. It adds up to an environment of growth and development, as well as a unique emotional support system in which new members can naturally develop.
When something's going on with somebody, like if they're sick, their family member's sick, they can't get out to a meeting for a while because something's going on in their life, we'll get together and we'll go out and see them, we'll write them cards.
In a world of declining volunteerism, the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department can serve as a model for communities struggling to recruit firefighters to keep their residents and property safe. It also demonstrates something bigger, that firefighting is simply a matter of passion and ability, not gender, and that everyone has unique skills to contribute.
The reason I stay here is to help. I love helping people. It's just, it gets in your blood and you can't not help.
What keeps me here is the citizens of Frametown, the people out there that need the help, to see somebody there willing to help in time of need.
The members of Frametown have a lot to say to women who might be interested in the volunteer fire service.
Everybody has something they can give to the fire department, male or female. We're always needing help, we're always needing people.
I think it's a great way of serving your community, and I think it don't make any difference what your age is.
I would tell her that she can do it. Whatever she can put her mind to, her heart to, or want to do, or want to try, she can do it.
It's something you'll either spend your life doing or you'll remember it as you go on through your life.
If you have interest in it, join.
If they're not able to do the work, as far as being on calls, dragging the hoses and stuff, we're always looking for volunteers to help clean, help with the dinners, help with the yard sale.
If you have a good heart and you want to spread that around with other people in the community, if you want to feel good about yourself and learn something each and every day, become a volunteer fire department member.
Just come join us one day and see what we do, or come to a meeting, and if you're not comfortable, then don't come back. But if you even have a spark of interest, just keep coming back.
Jump in a pair of those boots with both feet, give it all you got.
Frametown might not have a stoplight, but it does have one of the nation's most progressive volunteer fire departments, one that's well equipped to respond to all kinds of emergencies.
It's not just a fire department, it's not just people. You turn into a big family, so you always have a family.
It's safe to say that this small Appalachian town is in good hands.
you.